Welcome back. Feels good to be back in front of the camera. I've been a little bit absent on social media and this channel for the last month or so after my last obstacle course race. So in this video right here, I'm going to reveal the series of events that led to my injury, my surgery, and my recovery up until now. My goal here is to have a mini YouTube series that takes you through my road to recovery from suffering a few broken bones in my ankle and the surgery where screws and metal plates were put into place to reduce this fracture. So if you want to be sure you catch all my videos as part of my road to recovery, then be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Don't worry, there will still be many of my normal videos on this channel of living a happier and healthier life while balancing a busy work life. Also, be sure to watch the end where I'll outline some of the purchases I found helpful to have on hand right after surgery that made my recovery so much better. So if you're about to undergo a foot, an ankle, or a lower leg surgery for yourself and you'll find yourself on bed rest right after your surgery, be sure to stick to the end. So let's jump right in. So a little background story on how I got injured starts on August 14th. I ran the toughest mudder in Rockford, Illinois, which is a 12-hour race that starts at 8 p.m. on a Saturday and ends at 8 a.m. on a Sunday. The objective is to run as many 5-mile, 20-obstacle loops in those 12 hours throughout the night as possible. I was using this race as a training test for the Spartan Ultra Road Championships, which is a 24-hour race in Colorado in early October that I was going to be competing in. Now fast forward in this race to shortly after midnight, and I was about 18.5 miles into the race and I found myself at an obstacle called the Gauntlet. As the night wore on, I noticed that dew began to form on the course and on the obstacles. I was mindful on the first two sections of the Gauntlet, but as soon as I got to the last grip section, I had failed to adjust my approach on this obstacle. When the obstacle is dry, you can easily save a lot of energy by engaging and swinging your hips to carry you through the grip obstacle without using much energy. However, when the obstacle is wet, this is very risky as you can easily lose your gripping. Well, as I was traversing across the doorknob grips of this obstacle, I lost my gripping on one of my hands and went flying in the air and lost all sense of direction in the dark. I ended up landing hard on my back. However, the lower part of my left leg hit the ground first, and my entire body weight broke my lower part of my fibula and my tibia in my ankle. I laid on the ground for about 10 seconds thinking of how badly I just sprained my ankle and if I was going to continue on in the race. I then sat up and saw my foot going in a direction it shouldn't be going and instantly saw the swelling the size of a baseball on the side of my ankle and knew right away it was much worse than just a sprain. In the past, I've definitely suffered a few minor injuries during races and powered through the rest of the race with my stubbornness to quit. However, one look at my ankle and I instantly knew I had to quit this race right here, and that my racing season for 2021 was over. About 5 minutes later, the course medics got to me on the course and rushed me to the medic tent for further observation. I got observed by the course medics for what they said it's likely broken and that I need to head to the emergency room for further observation and x-rays. Thankfully, they were very nice to help me gather my items and get me to my car where I drove myself to the emergency room. While at the emergency room, it was confirmed that I had fractured my fibula pretty good and that I was going to need to go visit an orthopedic surgeon for further testing and observation. 2 days later, I visited an orthopedic surgeon, and after getting a CT scan there, it was confirmed that I had also fractured the base of my tibia, and that was going to require a metal plate to be put in place to help reduce the fracture. Before I knew it, I found myself heading to the hospital a few days later for surgery. This was my first time ever getting surgery, so there was those initial nerves, but after 2.5 hours of surgery time, it was a success. I woke up from the surgery and was very responsive and felt good, which had to do with the nerve blockers they had put in for the pain. I was then on strict bed rest orders for 3 weeks post-surgery, where I had to keep my ankle elevated 10 inches above my heart for at least 23 hours a day to aid the recovery and really minimize the pain. But man, it was really not pleasant removing my ankle from that elevated position for even the shortest period of time just to go to the bathroom. With now just being over 3 weeks after surgery, I've gotten my stitches and my staples removed out of my ankle, which seems to help a little bit of the discomfort that I was feeling. I still have a temporary cast on my ankle and still can't put any weight on my ankle for another 2 weeks where I'll get x-rayed again and potentially fitted for a walking boot. I'm taking about every safety precaution possible over these next 2 weeks here by keeping my ankle elevated and still rested as much as possible. The last thing I want to do is risk any setback. However, I will say there were some purchases that I did make that made my recovery process so much better. So if you're about to undergo a foot, an ankle, or a lower leg surgery yourself that will force you to be on strict bed rest for a couple weeks afterwards, then I'd highly recommend you buying the following items as soon as possible to have at your disposal post-surgery. The first is the Light Ease Memory Foam Leg Support and Elevation Pillow. Before my surgery, I resorted to stacking pillows on top of each other to keep my ankle elevated, and it wasn't the most stable and not the best to sleep at night. Thankfully, this arrived for me to have post-surgery, and it was 100% worth the cost of only $40. The memory foam was amazing, and the ramp to rest my hamstring on was much more comfortable. As my ankle needed to be rested about 8 to 10 inches above my heart, and this memory foam support had a height of about 6 to 7 inches, I did put one pillow underneath it to raise it another 2 to 3 inches. You will thank yourself by keeping your injury elevated as much as possible on this pillow, as it improves your blood circulation while reducing the swelling and alleviating that nasty pain. This was ideal for sleeping at night as it did a great job of keeping my leg and my knee in place. I personally used it in a recliner, but it can also easily be used in a bed to give you that good night rest that you need. The second most valuable item that I bought to help me get me through my recovery was acquiring a knee scooter. Upon departing the emergency room after my injury, I was given crutches. However, these aren't always the safest or quickest way to get around on one leg if you don't have much experience using them. As I didn't move too much while on bed rest when recovering right after surgery, having the knee scooter made it 10 times easier and quicker to get to and from the bathroom. The pain of removing your injured body part from the elevated state is not pleasant, so the quicker you can get it back to the elevated state, the better. And this knee scooter made it easier to do it quickly and safely. The handlebars and the seats were fully adjustable and the price tag came in around $120, which came in much cheaper than most of those comparable scooters that have the exact same features. I will say the scooter works best on hard surfaces, so if you have thick carpet in your home that you plan to use this in, then I will advise you to be careful. The third valuable item to have on hand after surgery is a waterproof leg cast cover if you find yourself in a cast post-surgery. Obviously you can't get it wet, and there are many good viable options out there that are reusable, ranging from $10 to $20. While removing your leg from that elevated position is unpleasant post-surgery, I will say taking a shower does help you feel a little bit more human and gives you that refreshed feeling. Another item that I personally thought was helpful was having a shower stool on hand, because it does make it safer and easier to take a shower when you only have one leg to stand on. The next item is an adjustable bed tray table. As you'll likely be spending about 98% of your time post-surgery on your back, it is convenient to have an adjustable table very close to you for when you need it to eat, or it can easily be folded up to put away when you're not needing it. You can usually find one of these for about $50 to $60. Then I would recommend having fluids and food that can be kept close to where you'll be resting. So having all these ordered before you have to come home from surgery is ideal to making your life post-surgery as comfortable and effective as possible. With this recovery process, I'm going all in. I'm in no rush to try and get back to racing as soon as possible. I'm getting married early next spring, so I'm choosing not to race again until after the wedding. Last thing I want to do is suffer any sort of setback or be in any kind of cast or walking boot for my wedding day. In all honesty, it's the smartest decision for myself, as when I return to racing, I don't hope to be 50 or 75% of the athlete I was before I got injured, but 100% or even better and stronger. That is why I'm creating this Road to Recovery series to help hold myself accountable and motivated, to hopefully help myself and someone else out there that might be dealing with the same injury or setback themselves. This journey will not be easy. It will come with some frustrations, but patience and dedication is going to be key. Come back for my next episode where I'll talk about how to deal with the mental side of an injury. If you have any other tips yourself that you found helped you post-surgery recovery, then share your insights in the comments down below. To end here, if you found this video helpful, please consider sharing and hit that like button. If you want to be sure you catch my next video in this Road to Recovery series, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Otherwise, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.